Greetings to my fellow Americans, and that includes you two Republicans and you two Democrats and all you independents out there. Just some political joking right there. Hi, my name is Keith Singleton. I'm with him. Here is my point. And the point of the day is that my solution to increasing the representation in Congress from 538 to 672 representatives. Wow, Keith, you want to increase it that much? Yes, I do. We haven't increased the representation in our Congress since 1960. To give you some gravity on that, I'm 60 years old. I was born in 1965. We haven't increased our representation in the United States since 1960. And guess what our population was then back then? 175 million people. We're almost close to 350 million right now, which means that we almost doubled our population. Actually, our population is around 336 million now. We're getting close. But imagine, we have not increased our representation in government from 1960. And pretty much like Richard Wolff has said in some of he's an economist, he talks about the economics of the United States and says we haven't increased the size of government since 1960, which is inclusive of the staffing. Staffing was 2 million back then, it's 2 million right now. So Richard Wolff said we haven't increased staffing in that amount of time either. So the government pretty much stayed the same. And what I recommend is that we increase our representation in Congress, and we'll kick out all this redistricting that is happening all over the nation. What I do is that my solution is based on the sizing every representation, given constituency. Right now, the average representative represents 716,000 people in their districts. Back in 1960, each representative approximately were representing between 250, 300,000 people. That's a severe difference. It's almost double, more than double now that a basic congresswoman or congressman represents in the House of Representatives. My idea is to take the smallest state in the union's population, which is at large, and divide every state by that smallest state, which right now is Wyoming. Wyoming approximately has 580,000 people in its state. If we took that same 580,000 and we divided into the state of California, it would increase the representation from California from 55 to 67.1. Whoa, Keith, 67.1? That's a fragment. What do we do with the 0.1? I'm glad you asked. What we would do is that each state would represent a chief electoral. That chief electoral would represent the point whatevers. And in this case, in California, they would vote on who has the most tenure, or they would just have an election to see who will be the chief electoral in that state. In the case of, I think it was Alabama would have went to from, I think, 8 to 13.9. In this case, the chief electoral would have a voting power of 1.9. But he would only have, as far as presidential general election, you only have a power of 1 to vote for electoral college. Now, we can discuss him including that as a chief electoral, and I guess presidents will try to woo that chief electoral each state to get that point, whatever they need. But that can be discussed at a later time. But again, this would increase the House of Representation from 438, which is inclusive of the District of Columbia, to about 572 representatives altogether. And each state will see a growth in their representation. Some will stay at large. One of them would be Wyoming and some other states. But that is the idea. The idea is to increase the House of Representation from 438 to 672. 572, 672 inclusive of the senators when we're talking about the elections. But that will be the recommendation. We are severely underrepresented. Now, I think still representing 580,000 people is still a lot and still well under representation, but it would make it fair. If Wyoming has 580,000, they're represented by one person at large, then everybody in the districts would have a Wyoming-sized type of representation. That is my idea. My name is Keith. I'm glad you came out, listen to me expound on this. I told you it would be short. Hopefully you will get this out to your congressman. Call your congressman and say, hey, let's write a bill to increase representation of our House of Representatives. You can call that number at 202-224-3121. That number again is 202-224-3121, and tell them you want to increase the representation nationwide of our House of Representatives from 438 to 572, and refer them to this video and say it's recommended. If they have any questions, they can come back and call me. My contact information is in my HIM page, my HIM channel. Come check me out at YouTube. Again, my name is Keith Singleton. I'm the host and ranter of HIMP, HIMP. Here is my point, and that was the point of the day. Thank you.